Her Majesty, Queen Elizabeth II, is one of humankind's most dignified, graceful, and compelling figures, loved by everyone and revered even by her country's foes. She's a leader like no other and a diplomat of the highest caliber. Her Majesty redefined the British monarchy, making it more relevant in the fast-paced, tech-crazed world of the 21st century. At 96, Her Majesty retained the title of the second longest reigning monarch after France's King Louis XVI. It begs one to wonder, how could the Queen last nearly a century when most of us are happy to reach our 50th birthday? Besides everyone's love fueling this dignified lady, the Queen's longevity boils down to what she eats. Here's what a full day of eating like for Queen Elizabeth. Breakfast. According to British Telecommunications, Her Majesty always starts her day with a tiny cup of tea, specifically Earl Grey tea, without sugar or milk. The Queen wouldn't have any excesses because she believes the extra ingredients dilute tea's natural goodness and health benefits. She complements her breakfast tea with chocolate Bath Oliver's biscuits. It's enough to whet her appetite for the main course of cereals and fresh fruits. Of course, the Queen can change her breakfast routine by eating marmalade on toast. If she's in the mood, the Queen will have smoked salmon with a slight dusting of truffle and scrambled brown eggs on the side. She doesn't like white eggs because the Queen believes brown eggs are more nutritious and delicious. Hollywood films always depict royalty as decadent folks. You'll see the royal table overflowing with foods curated and prepared by the palace's crowd of professional chefs. The real-world monarchy leads a much simpler life than the silver screen portrays. Tea, biscuits, cereals, fruits, eggs, and toast are hardly the foods we associate with royalty. Yet, the Queen ate them every single day for more than 9 decades. Earl Grey tea is a mainstay in British tea-drinking affairs. It's a type of black tea with bergamot essential oil. Tea has antioxidant and immune-boosting properties. Adding bergamot to black tea improves the drink's inflammation reduction capabilities while boosting its glucose-lowering effects and cardiovascular disease-preventing activities. Now you know how the Queen lived up to 96. Biscuits fuel the Queen to perform her royal duties and functions. On the other hand, cereals have digestion-enhancing properties, allowing the Queen to process nutrients and distribute them throughout her body. So, if you want to live long like the Queen, you might want to ditch hash browns, hot chocolates, fat-rich bacon, pancakes, and sugary syrups. Lunch. Her Majesty doesn't go straight to the dining table for her midday chow. Instead, the Queen would enjoy a light drink of Dubonnet or gin with plenty of ice and a lemon slice. It's an aperitif meant to stimulate the Queen's appetite before she starts with the food on the plate. Dubonnet is an aromatized French red wine with a distinct sweetness from herbs and spices. Adding more ice than necessary dilutes the alcohol, keeping the Queen sober for her official royal functions. Drinking aperitifs is not exclusive to royalty. Almost every Italian family enjoys a sip or two of their favorite cocktails while indulging in freshly made finger foods. Other cultures also have their versions of an alcohol-based appetizer. Although Her Majesty enjoyed aperitifs, she was by no means an alcoholic. With her appetite raring for its first bite, the Queen would have grilled chicken with fresh salad on the sides. Sometimes, she would have grilled Dover sole with wilted courgettes or spinach. You won't see the royal kitchen prepare starchy foods such as rice, pasta, and potatoes unless the Queen is dining with guests. These menu preferences underscore the Queen's emphasis on healthy eating. Grilled foods are better than fried, safeguarding the Queen's heart and blood vessels. Of course, you might think burnt foods are cancerous. Unsurprisingly, royal chefs never leave the grilled foods out of sight to ensure a nice color and not a charcoal-looking quality. Fish is as important as chicken in the Queen's daily menu. Rich in antioxidants, fish provides the Queen with enough elements to ward off diseases. So, you might want to skip the steak and starchy gravy or the deep-fried chicken for something healthier if you want to live as long as Her Majesty. Afternoon tea. Just as Earl Grey tea is a vital breakfast routine, so does a cup in the afternoon. However, the Queen is typically more liberal during this mealtime than at other times. If breakfast consists of tea, biscuits, fruits, and cereals, afternoon tea time is different. The royal kitchen serves the Queen one of two sandwiches, depending on the Queen's current preference. One of the royal kitchen's former chefs, Darren McGrady, says the Queen loves smoked salmon sandwiches with thinly sliced fresh cucumbers. If not, she would go for a sandwich with a mixture of ham, mustard, egg, and mayonnaise. Sometimes, the Queen would have raspberry jam sandwiches the royal kitchen prepared by cutting the bread into Old English penny-sized circles. Regardless of the sandwich, royal chefs must always remove the bread crust. Compare this afternoon snack with the average person. Oily hamburgers, fat-drenched fries, and zero-nutrient colas. And it's easy to see how the Queen lived 96 years. Dinner. Her Majesty's breakfast and lunch are more straightforward than dinner times when the Queen takes a more relaxed attitude about food. It's like her way of treating or pampering herself with some of the world's finest. After all, she was the longest reigning monarch after King Louis XVI of France. Some say Her Majesty favored roast beef, lamb, salmon, or grouse for dinner. Sunday evenings are different, allowing the Queen to enjoy a carefully prepared Gallic steak, finely selected fillets of venison, and beef the royal kitchen sources from Balmoral and Sandringham. The Gallic steak always had a hearty serving of mushroom sauce with whiskey and cream. And here's a must for the Queen. The meats must always be well done, not rare or medium rare. And another thing, lean meats only please. A dry martini goes well with the Queen's meaty meal. Although Her Majesty will also drink wine, she often reserves it for dessert. It's understandable why the Queen has a preference for lean cuts. Fatty foods can increase the risk of blood vessel obstructions and similar conditions. On the other hand, starchy foods can cause a spike in blood sugar, leading to metabolic abnormalities. Take your cue from Her Majesty and start trimming off the fat from your food. Who knows, you might hit 100 years. Dessert. Just as Her Majesty started her day with fresh fruits and tea, she'll also end it on a fresh and light note. Her favorite desserts include fresh strawberries sourced from her favorite place in the Scottish countryside at Balmoral Castle. She'll also have sweet white peaches from the greenhouses of Windsor Castle. And if she's in the mood for sweets, dark chocolates are the perfect end to a busy day. You'll never see her munching on milk or white chocolate. A glass of champagne is the perfect ending to a hectic day, a refreshing contrast to the early morning Earl Grey tea. Foods the Queen doesn't eat. Her Majesty's daily diet is healthier than the average person's. Fresh fruits, vegetables, decrusted bread, fish, chicken, eggs, cereals, and lean meats are a mainstay. However, the Queen also doesn't like some foods. We mentioned the Queen likes her meat well done. Hence, steak tartare and similar dishes are a big no for the British monarch. And if you serve her roast beef, Her Majesty will always pick up the end slices because they are more cooked than the middle. How about fast food, like McDonald's or Wendy's? Sorry, but the Queen is never a fan of fast food. We can only assume it has something to do with her stature as the head of the British monarchy. There's a certain level of decency that people expect from members of the royal family. Or it's plausible Her Majesty knows how incredibly unhealthy fast food can be. For example, McDonald's Big Mac contains 563 calories and 25 grams of saturated fat. Add French fries and cola to the meal, and you are potentially looking at 800 plus calories. The Queen's favorite foods. Okay, so we now know what Her Majesty eats every day. We also know some foods the Queen will never eat. One question remains. Is there such a thing as the Queen's absolute favorite food? After all, behind all the pomp and glamour of royal life lies a human being through and through. Former royal chef McGrady says the Queen's favorite is the Morecambe Bay potted shrimp on toast. The royal kitchen sources only the finest shrimp for the British monarchy and marinates the crustaceans in a secret spicy butter sauce. Chefs then cook the marinated shrimp in the same sauce until it thickens. Next, chefs slice off the crusts from the bread slices and put the cooked shrimp in a pot. The Queen slathers a warm toast with the shrimp mixture. Her Majesty is a glutton for sweets, especially from Prestat, Bendix, and Charbonnel et Orca. Other guilty pleasures of the Queen include a salmon coulibiac and croquette monsieur sandwich with whipped eggs, ham, and melted Gruyere cheese. But how about the other members of the royal family? What's a day of eating like for them? Is it all caviar on top of egg benedicts and fancy steaks? We have a full playlist on what's a day of eating like for each royal family member, which you can click right here.